Alright, I'm Flux Pavilion and welcome to my studio. And yeah, I'm an electronic kind of dance music dubstep producer, and this is where I do all my stuff, and this is my producer's house for SBTV. I never have like a starting point when I'm working on a track. Sometimes it can just be the strangest thing. I think I Can't Stop, all I'd done is made a drum beat, and I was talking to my mate on the phone, and I just instantly had the idea. The bass line just came to me. I just sat down, and luckily I was at my computer, and just wrote it there and then in about an hour. So I've never really listened to the kind of music that I write. Now I'm mainly on like Sigur Rós, Bon Iver, and then moving into going into hip hop like cinematic orchestra and submotion orchestra and stuff like that. So I listen to that music and how that music makes me feel. I try and kind of get those emotions into dance music. When I started the album, I kind of had the idea of I want to sort of take this kind of energy and this sound and try and be able to portray it as a band, because I've come from a band background, so I want to kind of see if I can morph the two things in together. And on the album, yeah, I'm kind of playing guitar and doing a lot of singing, and I'm playing a bit of live drums on there as well. And I've got like a clarinet and a trumpet and a saxophone and my mandolin and things like that, which is all the tracks I've ever put out. I've either got my voice on or an instrument on, but most of the time I just kind of disguise it with distortion. But I think that's a thing I try and do with every single track, is put some kind of live instrumentation in there, just to keep my mind going and keep myself thinking about how to use real instruments. Yeah, this is pretty much my setup. It's not really much to it, to be honest. I mean, I kind of got RP6s, KRKs, just because they were like the first speakers I could afford, and I got so used to the way they sounded that I thought, what's the point in sort of getting any better ones? And to be honest, I'm so used to them, I'm probably just gonna carry on using them. I think once you get stuck to something, you might as well stick with it. So I got a PC as well, so I got kind of used to all the hotkeys and stuff like that. And yeah, that's kind of the bulk of it. I've got a UA101, it's kind of 10 in, 10 out sound card, so I can patch anything up that I want to. And yeah, I use Cubase. So I think the main thing about my stuff is kind of all within Cubase. So I've got like Native Instruments Complete, which is like Massive and Absinthe and Contact and all that kind of stuff. And I've got a few little bits and pieces lying about, but I only kind of like bring them in when I really need something. So if I need a vocoder, I'll just kind of just use it for that bit rather than experimenting with stuff. So it's all pretty much in the box. It's a lot of relentless clicking and hoping that it eventually sounds good. I think that's my technique. I would love to have a big studio with racks of stuff, but I kind of don't really have the space in this little corner at the minute. But I've got this, which is a Moog Little Fatty. It's kind of like a digital rendition of like the majority of like Moog synths. Yeah, pretty handy. But so that is quite weird because I don't really use keyboards for anything. I tend to just like do it all in MIDI. So yeah, MIDI is pretty much just loads of little red dots. And even though I don't know, I like to think of myself as a musician because I kind of play loads of instruments, but when I write tunes, I don't use my keyboard. I find it a lot easier to actually just go in and use the little note thing. I've sampled loads. I mean, I tend to just go for a vocal hook, but in my experience, it doesn't even have to, like the sample doesn't even have to be what you want. The sampling, like the capability is so amazing now. You can literally turn anything into anything if you spend the time doing it. So I tend to just kind of try and find with a vocal sample just the right amount of syllables and the right words, and then you can just chop it up, move it all around and just turn it into anything you want. And on the new records I've been trying to, like I was talking about sampling, rather than trying to sample a vocal, just like kind of getting artists in and working with other people, and it's actually really wicked because not only you get to sit with a person and really kind of get excited about a song, is you've got so much more kind of control rather than sampling. You can just like really do whatever you want. An example was definitely the best for that. He's kind of like a walking hook machine. Like I know we sat down, I played him the track, and this is like a dance music producer's dream. He just reeled off hook after hook. I was like, I can use all of these. So it was like, rather than trying to find a hook, we were like trying to create a concept for the song out of many hooks, which is definitely a good kind of problem to have when you're in the studio. And the same, I had like Diplo over to work on the track, and Sway and P Money came like working on the album and stuff like that. And it's all been wicked actually, because you can really hear what other people want out of music, so you can sort of have what you want out of a track and then really go into what other people like to get out of their music as well. It's really inspiring. This is Daydreamer. That's essentially what my tunes look like. I mean, when I first started a tune, I try and just get the notes, kind of the notes in. So this is kind of how I started the track. And then kind of you can, once you've got like a line and all kind of chords and stuff, you can pick out notes. And so you can sort of building stuff up and using chords to kind of create a big thick sound. So that's what kind of how I tend to start my tracks, just getting a chord down and then sort of working out what fits over the top. I think an arp. I think like the sounds always come second to me. It's all about kind of getting the notes, because that's kind of what music is, I suppose. It's just fundamentally the notes, and then all the rest comes after. So I won't show you, but if I was to show you like get an early version of this track, it's just all saw waves is how I kind of start. It's just have like kind of plan out what I want all my synths to do, but just do it all of saw waves, and then after that build up kind of how all the sounds are going to kind of pan out, and then then pretty much just add some drums, which is just I think it's quite simple really. It's just, I don't know, it's about movement, I think, my tracks, and I think that's what ARPs are good for. Because if you listen to it without it, it kind of sort of plods along, but then with the ARP in there, little things. I think once you kind of got a good kind of hook and a good line down, it's all the tiny little things. Like, here's one good tip: whooshes everywhere. So there's something you can have. The old classic whoosh. So that string part is literally this MIDI part here. And then what I did was just take these notes and then transpose them onto a score. And then kind of started off with some synth strings and then went in and kind of got a 5-piece arrangement to do it. Well, the vocal, I started off in my bedroom. So yeah, this is my kind of vocal setup. I've got a little kind of tube preamp thing here, which is just a nice way to get kind of a bit more of a warm sort of tube sound. But I had like a much worse mic. I've just got this mic, it's quite new. But with the really bad mic and the really cheap bad preamp, it actually created quite a cool sound. So that was when Example came round and recorded. It was pretty much a setup identical to this. Doing the vocals, it was more, I didn't really process them at all actually. It was just more kind of, we wrote the song and then recorded the song and put it in there. I mean, everything's kind of, if you want to delve into it a bit more, always kind of, I do like all my mastering at home, and yeah, still my mix downs here as well. So I kind of, we double track the vocals and kind of group them up and just kind of compress them. I use it all kind of pretty much isotope, ozone for when I'm doing all that kind of stuff. And yeah, just grouped everything up, kind of lightly compressed it and put a bit of reverb on it, and it sounded pretty good. I think sometimes it's easy to overcomplicate what you're doing. If a sound is good with no reverb and no distortion or anything, then just leave it, I think, pretty much. And then if it isn't, then just put lots of distortion on it. I am, Flux Pavilion. I have been Flux Pavilion, and this has been my producer's house for SBTV. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Big up.